My name is Heidi Labrie. My presentation is for Stephen Honeywell, Introduction to Communications class. My movie will cover The Godfather, and we'll be going over the table of contents, the plot summary, character summary, listening, culture, verbal and nonverbal messages, interpersonal conflict, conflict management, personal evaluation, and the resources. As the story begins, the plot, The Godfather follows the transformation of Michael Corleone from a family outsider uninterested in joining his family's mafia business to becoming the ruthless mafia boss after the assassination attempt and later death of his father, Don Vito Corleone, who was in charge of the Corleone mafia family in New York. The character summary includes Michael Corleone, Al Pacino. Vito Corleone is Marlon Brando. Kay Adams Corleone, who's played by Diane Keaton. Sonny Corleone, who's played by James Caan. Tom Hagen, who's played by Robert Duvall. Connie Corleone is Talia Shire. Fredo Corleone is John Cazale. Carmela Corleone is Morgana King. Al Neri is Richard Bright. Peter Clemenza, who plays Richard S. Castelloni. Salvatore Tessio, who plays Abe Vagoda. Luca Brasi, who is played by Lenny Montana. Virgil Salozzo is Al Litari. Alex Rico, who plays Mo Green. The story concludes on the culture of the Italian family living in the American dream. In the culture, the true story that is based on the dream is working hard and proving the discipline and making money and gaining power and respect. So the American dream and the Italian culture is lived out in this film with dream and success. In this part, the listening comes in. The undertaker comes to the Godfather for help and counsel because his daughter was severely beaten. And he wants justice for his daughter and tells Don Corleone he will do anything for the Godfather. If he does so, the Godfather follows through with his request. Verbal messages in this scene. Connie is the youngest child of Vito Corleone. Among her siblings, she was the only girl in the family. She was the only one who could convince her father to do anything that she requested, good, bad, or indifferent. She always had the most convincing communication and respect for her father. The next slide we talk about is the non-verbal messages. And in this scene, Michael stays calm while Fredo, his brother, gets out of control with flaring arms and raises his voice trying to make his point, as Michael tells him calmly, never go against the family ever again. The interpersonal conflict at the beginning of this movie is Kay, who keeps a distance from the mafia and the Corleone family. She puts a lot of stress on Michael because she feels that she does not want Michael to be a part of that family business, of the organization, of the criminal aspect in this movie. Conflict management. Michael's commitment to take over the Godfather's position definitely puts him in a ruthless act of committing a murder to protect the Corleone family with hopes of saving his family and his father's life. The conflict evolves in a restaurant killing the mafia mobster of Zolio and police captain of McCluskey. Having said the last 5 weeks in this class, I have learned many means of communication through verbal, nonverbal, and communication through ways of different perceptions of other people. A conversation can easily be perceived in a different way and evaluated differently, especially coming from the sender to the receiver. So it can either be perceived as negative or positive outcomes through means of those communications, including body language or culturally speaking. The references that I chose here, The Hastings is a novel that was written by Stephen Hastings in The Godfather, and shows the different characteristics and how everyone has some sort of conflict in some way, but also pretty much sticks together in the Corleone family and depicts the relationship between those characters. In the movie here, Ruddy, who is the producer, and Ford Coppola, who is the director, this movie was made in 1972. Great film. I highly recommend this film to anybody. This movie did help with learning the communication, the verbal and nonverbal, and the body language, and everything that includes in what this movie is all about and that it pertains to. Dick Schwab is an individual author as well, who basically describes the different characters in a different way, meaning, once again, the conflict within the characters and the mobsters and the gang wars and trying to protect his father and trying to have a relationship with Kay, which at the beginning does not work out all that great, but at the end they do resolve the issue. So that was pretty much talked about in this book here. And last but least, we have Mario Puzo, and he is basically writing this book on March 10th in 1969, and starts out with creating the book for later on in time making the actual movie. This completes my presentation of The Godfather. Thank you.